this computer. Okay, so a lot of people are not able to get in their WC3 email. If you happen to know of anybody in our class and have their phone number, then let them know that I am doing online classes and they can contact me at area code 313-330-3385 and get in touch with me there. Or I'll send you a link to where the class is. It's not going to be a YouTube where you can look it up, but it'll be a YouTube where if you have the link, you'll be able to open it.
Okay.
So my agenda is to first talk about moving forward and where we are. You know, everybody was doing really well in this class, and I really hate that we're being reduced to online class because we were doing so great. From this point forward, your grade will stand, and you will be getting what I'll teach is an online version of the class. And so I'll do some explanations. I may have you share my screen to be able to do some projects and you know, go back and forth that way. I do want you to be able to get the learning from graphic design so that you know, you can be able to do tasks that actually you can get paid for it now because everybody's doing online stuff. So the way forward is to first be able to access the program. Has anybody downloaded the Adobe products?
I tried it, but my computer just started to act funny.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if it's because I have too much stuff on here or what. Because it took a minute for the Zoom thing to download as well today.
Uh-oh. So we don't want to overload your computer. Trisha, are you able to download the programs?
No, I need money.
You need what?
Money.
Oh, you need money? Okay. Here's the deal. I've been trying to get the college to, and hopefully they'll hear my plea. The Adobe website is offering the products for free for students until the end of the semester, but the IT person has to set it up. It's not something that I can set up on my own. Okay, so as soon as I find out about that, you can, you know, you should be able to get it from Adobe for free. But I need to make sure that they are going to do that. Otherwise, what you can do is you can do a free trial. Have you done a free trial already?
Yes, I've used that already.
Oh, geez, Louise. Okay, so so moving forward, what I can do is I can show you different things. Next week, I will be able to allow you to like share the screen, so you would be able to share my program from Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, so I may have you do simple things on Zoom and we can do it like that. Okay, and in addition, I'll give you videos you can watch in addition to me, but I'll be doing some tasks. And when everything gets back to normal, then you can access that at any time. Now, as long as I am teaching intro to graphic design, you are welcome to come and audit a class at any time after we go back to face, okay? So if you feel like you missed something, or you want to practice, or you want to get some additional knowledge, I definitely won't be, as long as there's a computer available, just slide on in, and we can go forward that way too. You know, because you can only learn so much without having the program, and without having the well, I mean, without having hands-on experience. So I will do my best in giving you the knowledge that you need to go forward, but also know that, you know, once everything gets back to normal, or the new normal, as they say, you can navigate some of the programs at your leisure, or when money starts coming in, okay? And I know it's rough, because we've all been affected in some way or another by this. You know, it's taking a toll on everybody. So.
And so I can't even show houses, nothing.
You can't do nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm a realtor, and I show houses, so I can't even go and show anything. They wouldn't let Home shut us down as realtors.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, she shut us down, told us that it was non-essential.
Wow. Yeah, we're all
Yeah, we're all hit with it.
well, I mean, hopefully, if the curve it continues to go the way it is, within the next month, we should be able to re-enter some form of life.
Yeah.
But that means, but as far as schooling is, it will, you know, it's gonna not go back to face till at least September. You know, because everything is going to be distance. You know, they've already set it up, so everything is kind of distance learning. Now, does everybody see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I had to turn it up. So
You can't see us.
I can't see you. You guys are hiding from me, but that's okay. You can see my messy office. That's all right. I usually try to dress a little bit more professionally, but I'm going straight from teaching a Facebook Live belly dance class to graphic design, kind of like how I normally do, huh?
We're fine.
Yeah, but and my dog is sitting right under me, and he's snoring.
Aww.
Yeah, he's.
I can't hear him.
No, you can't hear him. Let's see. Where is he? You see him?
Aww.
He's on the floor right behind me, snoring. And then every so often you'll see a cat, and he usually is right here, and he'll jump onto the computer. So I have one of each. One cat, one dog, one kid. They're all animals. And so let's see, where did we end?
We ended it with the there's a bug. Hold on. We ended it with us finishing up those flyers. Cause I remember you said that you wanted You wanted everyone to get done with those flyers so we could do the
So we could start doing
social media thingy.
Right. Okay. So I guess what I can do is show you how I would go about doing a social media ad, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and that's probably good because I got one of my clients that's on my back to do his social media ads. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay.
That's
Now,
the little green square. Okay.
okay, you see my screen?
Yeah.
It's a little junky right now. All right. So when you are doing a social media ad, the first thing you want to do is figure out where it's going to be posted. So in his case, he's doing a LinkedIn social media ad. So what we're going to do is we're going to first go to, and this is how I would do it. I'm going to show you exactly how I would go about doing it. I would go to, and I'm gonna go to Google, and then I look up social media ad size. Oops. 2020. And then I go to 2020. And there's a bunch of places that show you which social media sizes. And then you just go to the page. I went to Sprout. And then I look up LinkedIn. So I go here and I go to LinkedIn, and it's going to take me down to the LinkedIn. Always media specs for LinkedIn. And so and it basically tells you about the video, if you were doing a video ads, Pinterest. Oh, these are only the video. Don't want to do that. I want to do LinkedIn, Instagram TV. Why is it all video? Wait a minute. Hold on. I went to the wrong page. I must have. This all looks like video. Hold on. I didn't read it right. Not today. Okay, how about if I just go down here? Social media image size per network, LinkedIn. Okay, so if you were doing LinkedIn, your personal image is 400 by 400. The background image, there's the background. Your company logo size. So what I'm gonna do for him is I'm gonna do a banner image for company pages. I'd rather do a shared image or link. So this is what goes in a page. It would look like that. And you're going to go shared image or link, and it gives you the size. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one in Photoshop as opposed to doing it. You could do it in Illustrator or in Photoshop. It's not a big deal. Either way, it'll be fine. So I'm going to go to Photoshop. We're going to go File, New. On this side, you seeing where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
On this side, I'm going to make this the same size as that. So I'm going to go 1104 by 736. Now, I always personally like to start all my images at 300 because that's the best image. And then if the media wants a lower image size, then that's fine. So I'm going to say 1104 by 736 is horizontal. I'm actually going to do artboards. Okay, so that allows me to do more than one at a time. So you got RGB is for online, CMYK, which is, oh, it's not going to allow me to do that, but CMYK would be for printing. I'm going to go with a white background for now, and then I'm going to hit create. All right. So there is my artboard for a social media ad for LinkedIn. Now, I have done some other pieces for him. Open. So what we're going to use is we're going to go to the Sterling. This is one of my clients. And I'm going to go Sterling Social, and it should come up. Okay, so these are some of the Sterling social media ads that I started doing. So I'm gonna open that up. And these are some of the ads we started doing. Now, we found that when we started doing ads like this, which is what he wanted at first, that was too much copy to read online. So the more effective ads are like this, where it's easy read and it's got a call out, and that's what we do. So I'm going to create an ad, and I'm not going to use that one. So I'm going to start by going on in my Illustrator file. I'm going to get his logo. My computer is acting funny too. Okay. So I'm going to open up Illustrator. I had an accident with the computer right before the class. I accidentally unplugged it. So and that was by moving it around. So we have to open it up. Another way to do it would be by going File, play. You can either place linked or embedded. Embedded means that it's within that program. So what I'm doing right here is I have a few Sterling logos. This is their old logo. They've updated it. So we're gonna go to the Sterling logo 2020 and we're gonna place it. Uh-oh, this is from where it crashed. Okay, so I just placed the Sterling Security logo. I double click on it so that it's now editable. Now, in Photoshop, if you drag it, it stays the same proportions. If you use your shift key, then you're able to stretch it, but you don't want to stretch it. You want to keep their logo the same dimensions as it is. So I placed the Sterling Security logo by clicking it in place. And it then will be a positionable object. Now notice when I move this around, it has like lines that come up. That pink line that was in the center while I moved it, it let me know when it was actually centered in the page. So that would be centered. Okay. So I have the Sterling Security logo. I can either place it at the top or at the bottom. Now, for this one, I'm going to put it at the bottom. So the next thing I need to do is think of something that would catch people's attention. Now, right now in today's climate, why would you need security? Hello?
Because people are crazy.
Well, the COVID, you need to at least have somebody to help you navigate people who are unruly, like Jakara said.
Right. But why would you? Okay, so you're going to. An easier way to say that is like when I did the other ones, what I wanted the customer to feel is how would security make you feel? So my first one was like, are you protected?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so basically I typed that in and you can't see it because it is white. So I'm going to change the color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of their colors out of the logo. So what I did was I highlighted it, went up to the color here, and then clicked on it. When you are in the color picker, if you click on one of the colors here, it'll change your color and you can say, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sterling, their fonts, and when you're designing things for different companies, you want to look at the font that they're using in their logo and use fonts that go with those fonts that they're using. So I know that their font is Euro style. So when you're asking a client or you want to find out what fonts they use so that you can kind of, you can use the same font family, UROSTI. URO. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Eurostyle Extended because it's a headline font. So are you protected? So that way we can sit there and we can think about, okay, are you protected? Now we need some type of image that would go along with are you protected? So I would go online and then I'm going to type up building stock art. So let's say if it's a company or, you know, house. So if you were designing this, you would look up house clip art. Photos. So you see how you got different houses here?
Yeah.
So this one is a free house. Okay. Now, granted, I might not use that. They like photos, but I'm gonna use this one for here. Okay. So I see the house that I want. I click on it and I want to make sure that it is the best resolution. And it is a GIF. And we can just drag it into Photoshop. Okay. So now I have my layers. You got Are You Protected? You got the Sterling logo, and then this is the background. I want this house to be behind everything. I then grab it and then move it down. So now it's behind the design, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this doesn't really go. It's got to match their logo, right? So say, for example, you get this and I'm going to do a bar up here. So I went over here and I grabbed the shape tool and I drew a rectangle. So now my rectangle is white. I'm going to change it by double clicking in here and then getting that burgundy. So we're starting to match, oops, we're starting to match that logo. All right. So I'm going to go down here Oh, that looks pretty good. But I think I like a lighter color. So I know that theirs has a couple versions. And I may change it. But now I have a bar here. And their logo, maybe I might want to put smaller. But I'm looking at it and I don't like those clouds. All right. So I look at this drawing and I go to my layer. If it is a smart image, that's my phone, I'm sorry. Then you would have to change it. But it is a raster image. So what I can do is then go to this tool right here, which is your quick selection tool. And with your quick selection tool, and it gives you different sizes, and this is add. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take out this color right here. So what it does is it allows me to go around the object and start getting rid of areas, areas that I don't want. So say for example, I didn't want that sky. I could get rid of the sky. And so what I've done is I've highlighted the sky. So I can then go Command X and cut the sky out.
Oh.
You see that?
Yeah.
So now it's a little piece right there that I missed. So I can also go to my rectangular tool and just delete that. Oops. Okay, I gotta make sure you're on the right layer. So at that point, now I have a house where the background is cut out. But not only is the background cut out, it's not white there, it's transparent. So I can then bring that on top of that bar here, the rectangle, and make it overlay. Like that. You can also use the quick selection tool to like take these little flowers and make them change colors. So say for example, I wanted these colors to be another color. I could go edit, fill, and then I could fill it with a color, I can fill it with the burgundy from down here. And it didn't do a great job of tracing, but as you get better with it, you can go through and slowly, by taking this lasso tool right here, I can go through and trace out the image to a better version. And fill it like that. Oops, edit, layer. Where is it? Where is it? Wait a minute, type. What I sometimes like to do is do a new layer And then why am I not? Okay, fill. Okay. Fill, color, and then I can do it that way. So you have a better way to fill it that way. And you can also change the transparency on it by multiplying the color or running down any of these different kind of things you can do with it. So you basically can, at that point, change anything about the design. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. That you want to. By moving things around. Oops. So we can go, is your family protected? So this is what you're asking. That's gonna grab the people's attention. Then you wanna make sure you have a visual hierarchy as to what you want or what is the most important thing. So is your family protected? That's your header. And we're gonna go to the Sterling things. We have one of their little taglines here is virtual security and remote monitoring. So I'm gonna copy that. And this will be your subheadline as to what they're selling. I'm gonna go to my type tool. I'll change the color. I'll change it to white. And at that point, if you wanted to add any other copy, you could do that. You know, call us now. And basically, it's gonna keep going to that same typeface. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. I'm gonna make it the burgundy color. Oops. Now, if you notice, you have a whole lot of space in between here and here. You would go to your character. okay? And you can change the space in between your typefaces. It's called leading. And so you could change that by, if this is saying auto and you have 14 point, then you might want to go to the actual 14 point. And it still looks like it could use some space in between, or it can lose that. So I'm gonna take it down to 10 point. And then I'm going to make my headline a little bigger. Now you're saying, oh, that's too big. And then you can reduce that whole little section. There you go. You can say, call us today, and then put your phone number in there. 313-123. Four, five, six, seven. I'm just arbitrarily giving you a phone number. And that's your call to action. Now, normally I would try to put a color behind this, but because their logo has so many colors, it would be very difficult to put a color and it not fight with this. So what looks weird to me is this how this abruptly cuts off. You can either put a line there to give definition. So I'm gonna just draw a real thin box and paint it the purple. So that's giving a definition, and it's making this area stand out a little bit more. Okay. Now you see how the lines came out, and it helped me align this text with this text. You see that? Or I could highlight the whole thing and then go up to here and align it that way. Does either of you have any questions?
I have a question about the logo part.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw it looks fine now that you put the call or something. Because at first I thought it was a little small. Because how would the average person just see it? But now it makes sense.
Right. You gotta have it kind of has to be balanced. So your logo doesn't always have to slap you in the face.
Oh, you know? Okay.
I mean, I could literally make the logo even smaller. And it'd still be okay. You see?
Mm-hmm.
But if I did that, I would have to have something in here to balance.
Right.
So say, for example, you had some more text or something, but here's the deal. When you're doing this, and I see on that, you see on that house, it's got that little line there. So you gotta be a little nitpicky. I'm gonna go back to the house, I click on it, and then I get rid of that little line. I'm assuming it's all the way across, but there it is. Woo. Okay, so when you're doing things for social media, you have to make sure that the person can understand it in like less than 5 seconds. You know, so if they're scrolling by, what do they see first? Is your family protected? Protected from what? And then virtual security, remote monitoring. Call us today. Sterling Security. And then you can, you know, if you wanted to, you can click here to visit our website. You can have a little button if you're able to do that. But this is enough. Nothing's fighting. Your call to action is there. You're asking a question. And it's got a picture that emphasizes what you're saying. You know, you can, you know, now I use Free Pick. You can subscribe to different service, clip art services that may give you a better, okay, so, boy. Okay, so just by, so say for example, oops, I shouldn't have did that. Okay, so if I wanted to make a, you know, give the client more choices, and it makes it look like you've done a whole lot of work. So I just did artboard 1. So I can either go here and then duplicate that artboard. So now I have 2 artboards that are the same, right? And so to make them think I've done a whole lot of work, so now I'm gonna take this picture and take it to the bottom. And I can start changing colors. To make it look like slightly different ad. I can keep that though. Oh, I like that. Now, what happens when I start moving that is, uh-oh, you can't see the logo. Oops, sorry. Now there's a couple ways to get through that. You can take this, duplicate it, and then change it to another color. Yes. Oops, don't want to do that. You can't see this. So I need to do that. Now we gotta make sure that we're seeing the people there. And now we can make the logo bigger. Because your eye is flowing here to here to here. Now you can also take a little bit of emphasis off of their picture by making the picture a color. So say for example, I did that and then I changed it to multiply or color burn or darken. What I'm gonna do is change it to that color. Then I need to move this down because I want to be able to see the logo. So that takes a little bit of the emphasis off of them and makes it match a little bit more. And there's other ways to divide, like if you wanted to put this on there and it doesn't, you can't read it real good, you can also add drop shadows. So what I did was I clicked on here and I added a drop, I'm gonna add a drop shadow. So you can see it and it makes it stand out on top of the words. Now, you can also do that, oops, with the Sterling logo. I can double click on the Sterling logo and I can add different things to make it stand out. For example, I can add a drop shadow, but that doesn't really work because it's a little too dark. Okay. All right, so that's not really working because we got that multiple. So I'm gonna take that off. Maybe if I did a stroke, I can then change the stroke color to like a white. And I wanna make sure it's on the outside of the logo. And size, oops, am I on the right thing? Okay, so I double click on, oops, stroke. Oh, it's not normal, okay. There's the stroke, okay. So I can add a stroke to my logo to make it stand out. That's another way you can change things to the logo. Now you can do gradient overlay, but then that's not going to be their logo once you start adding patterns and gradients. But you can also do a bevel. Which can help make it stand out against the picture. And then this, the box doesn't have to be 100% color. Why is that? Okay. Okay, the box could be a percentage of the color, and I'm changing the opacity. But see, here's the deal. When you change the opacity, then you have to watch, are you losing part of the logo? So even if you have a slightly sheer, this area of their logo doesn't stand out. So if I wanted to keep it slightly sheer, oops, then I could go into there and add just a little bit of a drop shadow. And it's not showing it. Okay. Cancel. Okay. Drop shadow. I think I might add a little bit. And that's because this is bigger. And then I need to darken it just a little bit. And it will be up to you to change the direction and the opacity of the logo to suit your liking. Okay. All right. So that will basically give you 2 ads that you could turn into the client, basically from the same layout. How you like that? Did I lose you?
Nope. Looks good. And like you said, you just used another version and slipped in some things, but overall, you didn't have that much work to do.
Right. Like, for example, I did those 2 social media ads in what, 30 minutes, 40 minutes? So if you're advertising your business, then these are easy things that you could learn how to do by using one program. Is Photoshop. Okay. Now, when I decide to send them to print, you know, I would then want to do your file and your save. And then you want to save this version. And then I would go to export. And it would go, you would export it as, and then it would allow you, there's a little dialog box that will come up. And I could select all and then choose which way I wanted them to be saved. And then once I huh?
So you said go to file.
Okay.
Yes.
So I wanted to export them to, you know, to put them in LinkedIn. You would go file, export, and then export as.
Okay.
And you would export as, and see right now it's got both your artboards in there. Now I could label those artboards. It has both of the artboards in there. You can tell them what size you want them, and then you would export them, and it would export them as JPEGs, and then you would put them, you know, import them into Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever program that you wanted to, and you would have files that were set up for that size. And so you don't have to worry about, by using the sizes that were set up in the beginning of, you know, when I started by using those sizes that are specific for LinkedIn or Facebook, then you don't have to worry about cropping it out or trying to figure out how, if this is going to fit right. It fits exactly into the program that you need it to be in. So unfortunately, a lot of people will just make them any random size and then it doesn't fit. And then they're wondering like, oh, well, why does this not fit? Or why do I have to crop this out? Or when you go to their page, like in Facebook, you got stuff that's cropped out. That's because people don't make things the size that they're supposed to be. And so it's not as professional. It's not as professional as it would look if you designed it for each social media. So like in the beginning, when I started looking up the sizes, let's see, let's go to history. That Sprout social media, it tells you where these pictures are going, you know. So each one, and it does it for every social media platform. And granted, it's a little bit more work, but with, as a graphic designer or as anybody who owns a business, you want to put your best foot forward. And so therefore, if you're posting on any of the social media, then it's always good to have different, have your stuff cropped out the way it needs to be. Because some of, if you notice, sometimes it's square, sometimes it's long, oops. Sometimes it's long. And as a person, you have to like be aware that, okay, this box is gonna overlap this area. So I wouldn't want to put anything that was important behind there. So these things are all important as to how your picture is going to be cropped and where it's going to be placed. If it's going to be in a round background, because you don't want anything that's important to be cropped out. You just want your face. So everything that you do has to be conscious of where you're putting it and how it's going to be placed. So like if I had this as the Facebook page without the top part, say for example, I wouldn't want to put the call us today there, because you have your picture right there, and you would want to move it. You would want to move it over here somewhere. But at that point, you kind of want to make sure that your picture is more over here. You know, but here's the deal. Then you say, okay, well, I need to move the picture over here. What do I do? It's not enough picture, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple things you could do if it wasn't enough picture. You could go on layers, add a new layer, and then extend the picture. Now you can use what is called a clone stamp right here. Now granted, my clone stamp is real big, so I'm gonna change the size. But I can, oops, there's nothing there. I'm going to duplicate this.
So you're saying use as many layers as you feel you need to.
Right. So I usually copy layers because I don't want to mess up the original. So say, for example, I copied the layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Option key, which grabs this. And then I can then do like a paste. So it allows me to clone. This is the clone stamp. So it allows me to kind of copy that background to extend it. Okay. So you see how I extended the background just by using a clone stamp. Now, if it looks a little choppy, what you can then do is use, where is it? Your heal tool, and you can spot heal it so that it kind of
Okay.
will smooth things out.
Yeah, it is. It's really well.
So at that point, I have a picture that has more of a larger background and is more of what I want. The next option would be to cut her out like we did, or cut them out like we did the house and put it on a background. Okay, so that's our lesson for today.
I learned a bunch of stuff.
Huh?
Actually, I learned a bunch of stuff. I need to get the software.
Yes, but I mean, that can be used on a bunch of different paint type programs. But, you know, just also look at the way I lay things out. Even if you're doing stuff in Word, you know, what you want to do is mess around with the tools, because there are people that have done absolutely beautiful layouts in Word, but they have to have the skills to know how to change things. Like yesterday we were doing something, and you know, the students were only aware that weren't aware that they could change colors, that you could. Huh? Didn't know that, did you? Okay, like say for example you're in Word. Let's go to Word. You know, a lot of people just thought, oh, I can't use any other colors but the colors that are preset. And that's not true. So I'm opening up Word now down here. Okay. And my Word tends to take a long time to open. Why does my Word take so long to open? My gosh. Okay, so I think it's about opened. Okay, yes. So that was a project I was working on earlier. So I'm gonna go File, New Documents. So I have a new Word document, and I'm gonna grab this picture from Photoshop and stick it in Word. Oh, it doesn't want to do it. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we got the picture, and I'm gonna stick the picture in here from the internet. Okay, so I have this picture, and I wanted to do, let's say, a color story about this picture. So I'm going to insert a shape. I'm going to take that shape, and I'm holding Shift. Oh, well, I'm going to just copy it. Copy, view. So I'm copying and pasting different squares. Okay, so say for example, I wanted to change the shape. So I'm going to the Format panel, and I look at my fill, right? So I got a solid fill here, but I want this color to be the color of those drapes. So I would go to my little paint box here, right? And I could probably get it from one of these, but to really get that color, you go to more colors, right? Now you have this big shape with all of these colors. What I do is I go right here where this eyedropper is, and I go to the eyedropper, and I click. You see how it's magnifying? And then I go click, and there's the color. So I can then say, now I want that color, and this is the color. You go, okay, or you can save that color in here by just dragging it and putting it there. You can go, okay, and now the box is that color.
That's pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna do it again so you can see. This, I go to the paint box, go down to more colors, and now I'm going to click the eyedropper, and I want that yellow, and I click on it. And, there it is. There's that yellow, and the yellow can go right there. And then I hit OK. And so I can just go down the line saying which box I want. So you can match your design in Word to match your copy, view, your presentation, so it looks like you meant to do that. You see?
So now you have to slide that color back to a different layer. So the house will be in front.
Well, I mean, there are ways to do this in Word, but it's up to you to like, I'm not, my goal is not to teach you Word. I can translate some of the things that we're doing into Photoshop, into Word, so that, you know, you might be able to do some of these things and still have a good graphic design in Word.
Okay. I understand.
You know, and then you would just put your type on top of that, and it still gives you a matching graphic design that is more custom than you trying to figure it out and just slapping it together. You know, especially if you're trying to show, like, your client, you know, you're selling houses, you're trying to show color combinations or something that they can do for landscaping or whatever. You know, but each piece, you know, you can go in and then you can start doing different things within your Word program. You can do picture correction, picture color, transparency, cropping, you know, all within Word. So these are great functions for the program, and they really help with your presentations. Okie doke.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm going to put this up on YouTube later on today, and I will send everybody the link. And I will look forward to seeing you at our next class on next Tuesday. Is this a good time for y'all?
Yep.
Okay, great. And I will give you more tips and tricks. And actually, do both of you have Word?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that I get some more tips and tricks that I can translate over, so it'll help you at least use one of the programs that you do have.
Okay.
Okay, this is intro to graphic design. So granted, you know, we are using Photoshop and stuff, but we can also use a Word to translate some of the things that we do.
Right.
Okay, make the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, so I will see you next week. And if you have any issues or problems or dramas or whatever, just get in touch with me.
Okay. And you said you're gonna email it to us, right?
I'm gonna email you the link.
Okay, cool.
Okay, you did get my email, right?
I did. I
Okay.
just got I screenshotted the email you sent me
Mhm.
to Zayvon
Mhm.
and stuff because he said he couldn't do it.
Oh
But
my.
I sent him the stuff and then I said that you're gonna record it so that way he'll be able to watch it later.
Right.
So I whenever you send it, I'll send it to him and see if that can work too.
Okay. I'll see if there's another way I can record it too, so that he can be able to watch or kind of watch online. You know, not everybody can do Zoom. I may end up having to do like a YouTube private room or Google Meets or something. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You have an awesome day. Excuse me. You have an awesome day, and I will see you next week.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see. Okay.